Now, Charlie Munger, one of the most prominent investors and partner of Berkshire Hathaway, was once asked on his best investment advice. He said, "The first $100,000 is a bitch, but you gotta do it." Now, I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. After that, you can ease off the gas a little bit. Now, for many, the thought of saving $100,000 can feel like a distant dream, especially when you're relying solely on your salary. Yet, crossing this six-figure threshold isn't just a financial milestone, it's a monumental leap towards financial stability, freedom, and investment opportunities that can alter the course of your life. In this video, I'll share my strategies to achieve this goal through salary alone and ensure your journey to 100K doesn't compromise on your essential living standards. If you are new here, I'm Amber. I'm a chartered accountant working as an investment banker in New York City, and in this channel, we talk about everything from finance to business to self-development. But first, why is 100K so monumental for your financial life and investing? The answer lies in both your psychological and financial leverage. Psychologically, reaching such a significant savings goal boosts your confidence in money management and proves that you're capable of achieving substantial financial milestones. Financially, 100K is a robust emergency fund that not only shields you from life's unpredictabilities, but it also gives you a foundation for generating passive income through investments. Now, for me, 100K gave me the leverage to pay off my entire MBA in cash and not be reliant on student loans, which provided me an edge later on in life to save and invest in real estate without an existing high-interest student loan to think about. Now, while most videos on YouTube on saving 100K talk about increasing income through side hustles such as a side business or freelancing work, it was not a possibility for me, as at that particular point in my life, I was on an immigrant status, which meant that I could not have any other stream of income apart from my job. So I had to get creative in reaching this financial goal through my salary alone. I also recognize that most people watching this video probably have one solid source of income they rely on, so this video will help them get a better perspective on how to maximize savings from just their salary. So let's get to it. Now, savings is a direct result of income minus expenses. In order to increase savings, you have to either increase your income or decrease your expenses. And I did both. The first thing I did was that I increased my savings cap. The traditional math for savings generally works as 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings. I increased my savings cap to 50% of my existing salary. While there are a lot of ways to do this, such as reducing some of your needs and wants, the easiest way to do this is to increase your salary so you have a bigger pie for your overall financial goals. And that meant either asking for a raise in my current job or looking for a new job with a significant pay increase. Now, a job should be there either to learn or earn, ideally both. But if at any given point in my career I have found neither, I have switched. The best salary increases for me came from job changes. Traditionally in banking, you get a raise of 4 to 5% in your base salary. But if you change jobs, these increments can be anywhere between 25% to 30% of your existing base salary. And that is exactly where I focus. I got a job in another bank with a 30% increment in my base salary. And that not only helped me in my savings goal, but also added value to my profile. The one thing to remember with savings is that all savings are post-tax. So on a 60K salary, if you anticipate a 30K annual expense, that does not necessarily translate into 30K savings. The savings would only come post-tax, which on a 20% assumed tax rate would be $18,000. It's nearly impossible to tax plan on a salary as there are not much deductions available unless you fall into one of those designated categories in IRS or have dependents. After the salary increase, my next step was to stay firm to my savings plan and maximize my returns on every single dollar saved. And that meant keeping my savings in a high yield savings account. The average return on savings in the US is 0.41%, which means that for every $10,000 in savings, you only get $41 a year in interest. However, few people are aware of organizations like American Express or Sophie that provide a return of upwards of 3.8% on your savings cap. For comparison, if you invest the same $10,000 in their high yield savings account, you would get $380 as interest, which is roughly 9 times higher return than your normal savings account. So I opened a SoFi online savings account, and after each salary credit, I automatically deposited the savings into the high yield savings account, so they were not even available for me to use. The link of that exact account is in the video description. The next measure I took was to divert any unexpected windfalls, such as tax return and bonuses, directly to my savings account, thereby resisting the temptation to spend this extra money. Now, given the bonus in banking ranges between 15 to 25% of your base salary, this can be a significant chunk of money which can go directly to savings. Now, this was all about increasing my income, and while I took every single action to maximize my salary and savings, I also doubled down on expenses front to see what I was spending on and where I could save more. But as I mentioned before at the start of this video, I did not want to compromise on my basic lifestyle. I did not have an extravagant lifestyle to begin with, so there was limited scope to reduce expenses from needs. To monitor my expenses, the first thing I did was to create a budget to list down all my income and expenses. Now, this helped me get a visual of where my money was coming from and where it was going. The link of that exact budget sheet is in the description of this video. Feel free to download it. But then I listed down all the unnecessary expenses that I could get rid of. Now, I had monthly and annual subscription services that I hardly used, so it made sense to stop paying for them. Next was the unnecessary wants. Now, I was under the habit of upgrading my phone every year, which I stopped. I also capped my expenses on latest gadgets and stopped making impulse purchases, which resulted in direct savings. The final step on my journey to save $100,000 was investments. Now, being a banker for the last 15 years had given me the experience to study and invest in stocks, equities, and ETFs. So I invested in stocks of companies like Microsoft, Tesla, and a couple of other pharmaceutical companies that I felt had the potential to grow. Now, while not all of my investments grew over the course of the year, my investments in Microsoft and Tesla almost doubled themselves in price, which left me with a positive cash flow. These profits added to the bottom line of my savings. If you are new to stock trading and have no insight on which stocks to invest in or have a less risk appetite, I highly recommend you start investing in the index funds like the S&P 500. Now, index funds diversify your investments to the top 500 companies listed in the Standard & Poor's Index, which means that your risk is split across various industries and hence minimized. Index funds also operate on the concept of compounding, hence your return on investment will start to add up if you keep the money invested in for a long time. To summarize my entire journey, I was able to save $100,000 in more or less 3 years, with the split coming from increased salary of $50,000, investments of $20,000, and expense management of $20,000. Now, I could have expedited this journey by cutting down more on expenses, but I did not want to compromise on my existing lifestyle. Now, it is important to know that no matter where you are in your financial journey, you can set a savings goal for yourself and achieve that in creative ways without compromising on much of your lifestyle. Now, it's always the first 100K that seems to be tough. Once you achieve this target, it gets progressively easier to save your next 100K. This is because of the power of compounding and leverage. For example, if you invest $1,000 at 10%, then after the first year, you get $100 as interest. If you invest $100,000 at 10%, then after the first year, you get $10,000 as interest, which is significantly higher. Now, same with leverage. With 100K, you can buy a rental property and generate positive cash flow while generating equity. Now, real estate in a majority of scenarios gives you much higher returns if you do plan to flip the property somewhere down the line. Now, saving 100K on a salary is not only achievable, but can also be life-changing. It requires a blend of discipline, strategy, and mindset shift. Remember that every small step adds up. It's not about depriving yourself, but also about making smarter choices that align with your financial goals. You can start today and watch your savings grow $1 at a time. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the content, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click the like and subscribe button. It's your support that helps keep the channel growing, so I keep producing meaningful content in the future. As usual, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.